When it comes to the story of Dracula, there is one woman who, though not his ultimate goal, is easily the most important woman in the story. That is a beautiful young 17-year-old girl named Lucy Westenra. We're first introduced to Lucy via stories from Mina Murray, fiancée of Jonathan Harker, the man sent to Dracula's castle to help him secure what would be his new home in England. Lucy is Mina's best friend and the daughter of a very wealthy English lord whom she stays with while Jonathan is away. She is very heavily sought after to the point that she has 3 men trying to pursue her at the same time: Dr. Seward, Quincy Morris, and the one she chooses, Arthur Holmwood. Upon Dracula's move to England, he takes notice of Lucy during his pursuit of Mina, who is the doppelganger of his late wife, and decides she will be his newest bride, and possibly that having her turn would help Mina in her eventual transformation. After their initial meeting, he finds different ways to seduce and get to Lucy to bite her. That includes hypnotizing her to sleepwalk, giving herself to him, and eventually sneaking into her room at night. Eventually this leads to her getting very ill, to the point that she becomes bedridden. Once this happens, Dr. Seward calls his colleague, Dr. Van Helsing, who diagnoses her with acute blood loss, and talks their suitors into donating their blood to her transfusions. When she doesn't get better after multiple transfusions, Dr. Van Helsing begins to suspect darker things are at work and that she is actually the victim of a vampire, which no one else believes. He then changes his treatment methods to not only just treating the symptoms, but also including items to repel vampires. This initially works as she starts to recover, but eventually, as Lucy begins to turn, the vampire repellent flowers that Van Helsing placed in her room would start to bother her, and she would convince her mother to remove them, allowing Dracula to come back and continue to drain her. Van Helsing would then replace the flowers with garlic, which would bother her even more, and as they try to convince her to keep them, she seduces, then fangs out and attempts to bite Quincy, but is saved by Dr. Van Helsing, who finally has his proof to the others that the vampire threat is real. Once Dracula gets word from Mina that she snuck off and got married to Jonathan, he then finishes the job with Lucy, resulting in her death. Despite the precautions Dr. Van Helsing places with her body before she's entombed, Lucy eventually rises from her grave. It then starts getting reported that children are going missing, and the ones who are found have bite marks and are claiming to being attacked by a beautiful woman.
Come here. Come here.
Dr. Van Helsing convinces Quincy and Lucy's other suitors that it has to be her, and convinces them to stake out her grave at night. When they get there, it's empty. Eventually, Lucy arrives with a child, and upon seeing Arthur, begins to seduce him.
But Lucy, I'm British.
But so are these.
Lucy!
Much like with Quincy before, Dr. Van Helsing steps in and saves him. They then pound a stake through her heart and cut off her head, ending the story of Lucy once and for all. Now, in media, there are some alternatives to the original story when it comes to Lucy. In Dan Curtis's rendition of Dracula, Lucy comes to Arthur in his home after her death, as opposed to children going missing.
Forever.
In Dracula 79, Lucy doesn't die at all. In one of 3 major alternate universe versions of the story, Lucy takes on the role that Mina holds in the novel as the fiancée of Jonathan Harker and the obsession of Dracula. She is also now the daughter of Dr. Seward. She ends up falling in love with Dracula, and they lock her in an asylum to prevent him from getting to her, but that is where she fangs out and attempts to bite Jonathan, with Professor Van Helsing saving him. In the story, Lucy fully gives herself to Dracula, and it's hinted even after his death, at the hands of Harker and Van Helsing, she is still loyal to him. The other alternate universe version of Lucy comes in the Wes Craven film Dracula 2000. In this modern take on the legend, Lucy is the best friend of Mary Van Helsing, the estranged daughter of Abraham Van Helsing, who is now immortal due to injecting himself with filtered Dracula blood, unknowingly to him passing the blood on to his daughter. In this film, Dracula, like in the original, sees turning Lucy as a way to soft convince Mary to get on board with being turned. Unlike in the original story, the transformation is complete, and not only does a vampire Lucy make a good accomplice to Dracula, but this Lucy becomes one-third of his new brides, along with a thief named Selena and a news reporter named Valerie Sharp. The most recent iteration of Lucy comes in the ill-fated single season of the NBC drama Dracula. In this alternate telling of the story, Dracula is reincarnated as an American businessman attempting to live out a normal life while hunting down the vampire hunting society that was the bane of his existence, along with the help of Dr. Van Helsing. In this universe, Lucy is mostly an antagonist who is trying to get in between Mina and Jonathan Harker, as she has eyes for Mina herself. The series ends with Dracula turning Lucy, and one of the last scenes of the series is Lucy fanging out and feeding on her own mother.
Come to me, Mother. Kiss me.
Lucy. Oh, I thought I'd lost you forever.
No matter the adaptation, the Lucy Westenra story is a haunting reminder of the power of the supernatural and the frailty of human existence in the face of the darkness that lurks in the shadows. While she may not get the credit, she probably should be in the conversation as one of the first and most memorable female vampires in all of literature. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon, where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube, along with download options. Link is in the description.